last year, I made a proposal to Vichitra Pathshala to launch a project on the theme of migration. While conceiving this idea of migration and integration, it seemed most appropriate that the evolution of a dear city of Kolkata must be documented through a process of recognition of all these multifarious influences. Vichitra Pathshala very generously took up my idea and developed it further and gave it a definite structure. At this webinar, we shall discuss and highlight the different influences of migration that has given the unique identity to the city of Kolkata.
And it's a wonderful initiative that Debarina Roy has taken and brought to Vichitra Pathshala on a platter. And Vichitra Pathshala just lapped it up because it is so important. And how better can we spread the awareness about this very, very significant phenomenon, if not through the teaching and the learning communities of today's time? And that is our intention, that by bringing it to the teaching and learning communities, we can kind of trigger off people delving deeper into the issues and coming out with their own interpretations of what they see, so that we can assimilate all this into some kind of useful information for future generations to look at the phenomenon of migration.
I'll open with a quote from V. Sangvi, who wrote the foreword for the book. And he says that a great city is not a collection of its buildings. It draws its greatness from the people who inhabit it. And the people of Calcutta are special. They make this city, this great city, what it is today, a metropolis like no other. We are not looking at the city. Everyone's experience of the city is different. Everybody's and therefore, to not kind of homogenize the lens through which we look at the city and through which we look at diversity and migration, I also wanted to just put the process a little here. So, I'll open with a quote from V. Sangvi, who wrote the foreword for the book. And he says that a great city is not a collection of its buildings. It draws its greatness from the people who inhabit it. And the people of Calcutta are special. They make this city, this great city, what it is today, a metropolis like no other. We came up with this bouquet of, these were the final about roughly 26 contributors, including myself. And each of them actually has a unique journey in how, in the nature of citizens that they are, as well as the kind of stories they brought to the table. It was all a culmination of their own experiences. So the first story that I'm going to talk about is called Life in Little Lucknow. It wasn't just a Nawab who had migrated to the city of Calcutta, but his people. It wasn't just a people, but their culture that had migrated along with them. And it built into a miniature version of what was a recreation of the city they were from. Lucknow was lost, but they all rebuilt another one from the Lucknows they had within. But it grew up, and then it grew old. And in that aging city within a city resides Dr. Ramesh Kumar Sen, a Panwala by day, a homeopathic doctor by night. A city that is known for its history, heritage, and culture. Metia Buruj or Matia Burj, the fort of mud, is only vaguely talked about. Dr. Saini's ancestors might have seen a very different Calcutta, staying in these parts. The third excerpt I'm going to focus on is called Of Longing and Belonging. This looks at partition history and migration from Epar Bangla, Opar Bangla, from Bangladesh to West Bengal. Our large joint family lived in a townhouse near Dhaka University. My grandfather's flourishing textile business in Chaudhuri Bazar was entirely family run. Partition history is strewn with families fleeing for their lives, leaving almost everything behind, to start from scratch in a new, unfamiliar place. Runu's family only carried the Trishul, from their temple, some cash reserves, and heirloom jewelry as a source of investment for the future. In Kolkata, they purchased a textile market in Kalighat and bought a courtyard house within walking distance where the family resettled. After the demise of Runu's grandfather, patriarch of the Shah family, younger members have taken on more responsibilities. They continue to host a Shiv Puja at the Shah's Bijoygarh residence, where all factions of the family meet annually. The traditional ritual of cleansing the iron Trishul in the river Podda is now carried out in the Hooghly. Both rivers, being distributaries of the holy Ganga, are also ways in which Dhaka and Kolkata symbolically connect.
Some of the things which are kind of our daily necessities are actually not our own thing. So we have adopted them. So who brought the food to Bengal or who adopted it fast will remain debatable. However, over a period of time, it seems people, irrespective of their caste, the economic status, adopted the food brought by the Firangis. And I think when we talk about migration, the biggest migration that probably happened before, when the people of East Bengal came to this part, and probably people from here, this part actually went to the East Bengal of, or rather the Bangladesh. But before that, it actually started long back when the so-called Firangis started coming. And why I'm using the name Firangis, because that is how people used to call them. So, and this Firangis belong to multiple countrymen, and I would probably take you through that, but I would be starting with something that probably you all know. This is like a regular thing that we have every day. And this is breads, different kind of breads. And even if you are from the remotest part of West Bengal, you would actually see the bread. But bread is actually something which was brought to this state by the Portuguese.
Good morning, dignitaries and my dear friends. I am Vasudeva Arvind from class 6 and I will be representing Birla High School. I am born as the second son of Commander Arvind Shankar and Devi Lakshmi. I was born in a small town in the Arctic Circle called Severodvinsk. Doesn't it feel like a tongue twister? When I grow up, I want to visit Russia to view the White Knights. My father was born as the elder son of Dr. N.K. Shankaran and Gomati Latika Devi. My grandfather was a Sanskrit professor and retired as a vice chancellor of Sanskrit University. And my grandmother is a school teacher and retired as the headmistress. My father had a joyful childhood as they lived in a joint family. He has so many colorful memories of playing with his cousins.
My grandfather, Kamal Singh Shamsukha, was born in Krishnanagar in the Nadia district of West Bengal. Krishnanagar is known for its delicious sweets. The most famous sweet there is Sarpuria. It's also famous for the clay modeling. My grandmother, Mrs. Manju Devi Shamsukha, was born in a small town known as Mazdia in the Nadia district of West Bengal.
Harshal, you said your grandparents are from Krishnanagar in Nadia. But
Yes.
before that, have you asked them as to where their parents came from?
Ma'am, their parents also lived in Krishnanagar.
Okay, so they at least 4 generations has been in Krishnanagar.
Yes.
So do you all still have your old ancestral house over there?
No, ma'am. Actually, Krishnanagar was rebuilt, so our old house was destroyed. And we had to leave, ma'am, because of some difficulties at that time. We have to leave that house.
So how many years back was that you moved to Calcutta?
30 years or 40 years, ma'am, it has been.
We shall directly go into this place where after the Plassey war, British begin to rule India. I mean, this is the first entrant and it is spread across the whole continent like a wildfire. So what happened was, firstly, the British had come to trade with India for their textiles and their spices and everything. Then when the the Industrial Revolution happened, what happened was they started they had to procure raw material for the industries in England as well as Europe. So what they started doing was taking our raw stuff and digitizing or printing it there in an industrial way. So what happened, due to high taxes, when they were taking stuff from here, there was high tax. So our weaving community, our textile community began to suffer. This is very important because here we can see, how women wore saris. This is a Parsi community. So is the black and white picture here. And we have this English man who's being pedicured by a servant who's Indian. See his clothes, it's turbaned. He just has a kurta and a dhoti. And common people dressed very much like they dress now, like the Adivasis who still carry on. Maybe they wear blouses now, but I've seen many of the older women, people who are 70, 80 years old, they have done away with the blouses. They just wear the sari. So you can see that's very common even now. This is a very important picture at the bottom where they're, holding a flag. This is Matongini Hajra, a freedom fighter. So the simplistic way of wearing sari, there are many ways. I mean, she's wearing the sari in the Brahmika style, somebody's wearing it in the Seedha Palla style.
विचित्र पाठशाला द्वारा आयोजित यह सच में एक मजेदार ग्रीष्मकालीन गतिविधि थी जिसे करने में मुझे बहुत मजा आया। दादा दादी परिवार की जड़ के रूप में जाने जाते हैं। अपने अनुभव और समझ की वजह से वह नई पीढ़ी को आगे बढ़ने में उनकी मदद करने के लिए अपने जीवन के मूल्यवान सबको साझा करते हैं। मैं अपने दादाजी की मुंह जुबानी बताती हूँ। मेरा जन्म बांग्लादेश में हुआ था। भारत विभाजन के दौरान हम कोलकाता आए। बचपन मेरा बचपन न था क्योंकि पिताजी की मृत्यु बहुत कम आयु में ही हो गई थी और बड़े बेटे होने की वजह से 4 बहनों की जिम्मेदारी मुझ पर थी। और इसी के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देती हूँ। अपना अमूल्य समय देने के लिए आप सभी का धन्यवाद। जय भारत, जय हिंद।
Some of the objectives and insights revealed during making of Tracing Root project are: personal identity. Tracing family roots back through generations can help a person connect more deeply by learning about their family's past, where they came from, who they were, what they did, the dreams they had, and so on. Family matters and compassion. As we get older, we realize the importance of family. Not just a family we grew up with or raised, but the broad extended family of great aunts, third cousins, and great-great-great-grandparents, etc. Core identity. Knowing our cultural background and where we came from can help us develop a strong sense of who we really are.
I really appreciate that, young kids have come to a level which in our generation could never dream of, that we can come out with such excellent thoughts and presentation, which is incredible.
Well, you have been listening to several speeches and presentations. So now I'm sure you know that we are talking about Calcutta. From the very beginning, Calcutta was a city of migrants and settlers. The city grew with the settlers from its immediate surroundings, from people belonging to other regions of the subcontinent, and finally from Europe, bringing with them their varied languages, cultures, religions, and the way of life that included music. The music of Calcutta developed from different ethnic roots, the variety of which is quite mind-blowing. I shall now play a kirtan sung by Komula Chudra.
कहते ডরাই ধবলে চরাই মই কালো পহেরাই কহিতে ডরাই ধবলে চরাই মই আমি তোমার প্রেমের কি বা জানি কালো পহেরাই আমি রাখাল বই তো নই আমি রাখাল বই তো ধেনু রাখাল বই তো নই রাই তোমার প্রেমের কি বা জানি কালো পহেরাই
Gauhar was the most recorded artist when gramophone records came to Calcutta in 1900.
An event like this takes time to culminate. The wheels start rolling months ago. It requires planning and excellent teamwork. We've been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated members of Vichitra Pathshala, teachers and students of all participating schools.